The mayor is standing at the window. He wore a thin shirt embroidered with flowers, with a lace lotus leaf on the chest, and a diamond tip glittered on it. He had just finished shaving. He cut his face a little and temporarily covered it with a piece of newspaper. "How is it, baby?" The baby passing by was the child of a washerwoman. When I passed through the door of the mayor and number 39's house, I politely took off my hat. The baseball cap was folded in half because he was still rolling it up and stuffing it into his pocket. The baby stopped with a polite, obsequious look as if standing before the king. My clothes are shabby but very clean and carefully mended. I wear a pair of giant clogs. The mayor said, "You are a good boy. Your politeness pleases me very much. Your mother must be doing laundry on the riverbank. It and number 39's true that you brought your mother that thing that and number 39's sticking out of your pocket, right? Your mother is so naughty doing that. How much is that place?" "Sir, half a bottle." The baby was so scared, he answered in an almost choked voice. That decent person continued, "And your mother drank exactly that much this morning, right?" The baby argued, "No, yesterday. The two halves combined make one bottle. Your mother is such a pervert. It and number 39's so sad, your mother should be ashamed. You try to avoid becoming an alcoholic, but then you and number 39's the same, you can and number 39's avoid it, son. Poor. Stop it." The baby walked away, while relenting, he still held the sandbox in his hand. The wind blew into her blonde hair, tossing the long curls. At the corner of the street, I turned into an alley leading to the riverbank. There, her mother knelt on the couch, trying her best to pound the table onto huge bundles of clothes. The mill and number 39's sluice gate was open, and the water flowed rapidly, dragging away large bedsheets and threatening to overturn the couch. The washerwoman was forced to use all her strength to hold her feet down. She told her child, "In a little while, I and number 39's will be swept away by the water. Lucky. You and number 39's here, I need to regain some strength. The water is so cold that I had to soak here for 6 hours. Did you bring anything for Mom?" The baby pulled out the bottle of wine. The mother took it and took a sip. She said, "So good. It and number 39's hot all over. This sip is cheaper and just as effective as a bowl of soup. My son, please drink some, your face looks very pale." It and number 39's already autumn. Wearing thin clothes like that must be very cold. Wow! Why is this water so cold? The main thing is that Mom doesn't and #39's get sick. But no, it and number 39's not possible. Give Mom another sip. Drink too, just one sip. Don and number 39's get used to it, my poor darling. She left the bench and went to shore. Water dripped from his shirt and the mat wrapped around his body. She said again, "I worked so hard that I almost bled from my fingertips, but I and number 39's am willing to work to raise you honestly, my beloved son." At that time, a slightly older woman, dressed in rags, came. She has half a leg and one eye. She pulled a large strand of hair down to cover her bad eye, but it made it even clearer. She is a friend of the washerwoman. Neighbors call her Lame Mart with loose hair. Martin said, "It and number 39's Pitiful that you have to work so hard in cold water like this. It and number 39. True that you need to drink some wine to regain your strength, but there are evil people who even open their mouths to criticize you. She repeated the beautiful speech the mayor had given to the baby earlier. I heard it when I passed by, and I was also sad because he said that to your mother. She continued, that strict person, seeing people drinking a few drops of alcohol to keep up the strength to do hard work, considered it a serious crime. Today he threw a big party with all kinds of delicious liqueurs and wine. Heavy wine. Each person drinks up to 2 or 3 bottles, definitely not drinking to quench thirst. But how can they consider drinking alcohol, because they are classy people? As for her, they said she was damaged. Lips trembling in pain, the washerwoman said, "Ah, is that what he told you? Saying that you have a mother with bad character. ... It may be true, but you shouldn't and #39 talk about that with children. So many of my mother and number 39's sad stories came from that family." Mart said, in the past, when the mayor and number 39's parents were still alive, I lived in that house. There is a saying, and quote, the father and number 39's life will eat salty food, the child and number 39's life will be thirsty. End quote. Martin smiled at his joke and continued, the story is this. The mayor invited a lot of people to the party. At the last minute, he wanted to stop ordering the party, but it was too late, the food had already been bought and was unfinished. The servant of that house told me the story. At that time there was a letter informing him that his youngest brother had just died in the capital Copenhagen. Die! The washerwoman cried out, her face as pale as a soulless corpse. Right. But why do you seem to care so much about it? Oh yeah, you know him from when you lived in that house, right? Star? Dead? What a noble soul he had. He is the embodiment of kindness and generosity. Also in that class, there are not many people like him. While saying that, the washerwoman and number 39's tears flowed down her cheeks. She continued, so dizzy. Or is it because I drank too much and could and #39 stand it? I feel very uncomfortable. She leaned against a board. Mart said, oh my God, I really have a cold. Let and number 39's try a little to make it go away. But it can and number 39's be helped, I see you have a bad cold. It and number 39's best if I take you home. What about those clothes? Just leave it there and I and number 39's wash it for you. Come here, give me your hand. Let me stay and look after the clothes. I and number 39's go back and wash the bad parts, there and number 39's not much left. The poor washerwoman staggered away. She said, I stayed in cold water for too long. I haven't and number 39's eaten or drank anything since morning. I have a cold, Jesus for God and number 39's sake. Please help me get home. Woe to my child. She cried bitterly. When he stayed at the riverbank looking for clothes alone, the boy also cried. The two women walked slowly. The washerwoman staggered through the alley. Arriving in front of the mayor and number 39's house, she fell exhausted to the sidewalk. Passers-by gathered around her. The crippled Sister Mart quickly ran back to her friend and number 39's house to call for help. The mayor and guests went to the window to watch. The party host said, "Oh, it and number 39. The washerwoman. Maybe she drank too much wine. That woman is so spoiled. I and number 39. Am sorry for her son. He and number 39. Such a good boy. I love him so much. But his mother is a bastard." The poor woman regained consciousness. They took her back to her shabby little room and put her to bed. Mart made her a cup of hot beer with butter and sugar. According to her, it is the best medicine. After that, she went back to the river to wash the clothes, or more accurately, just sprinkled water on them and put them in the basket. She has good intentions, but only because she is weak. At night, she went to sit next to the washerwoman in the poor corner of the house. The mayor and number 39's cook gave the sick man some fried potatoes and a piece of fatty ham. Mart and the baby enjoyed a satisfying meal. She said, "And quat, if you are sick and can and number 39, eat, smell the smell to regain your strength. And quat." Martin put the baby to sleep across the bed, at his mother and number 39's feet, and covered him with an old mattress with red and blue trim. The washerwoman was a little better. The smell of delicious food and hot beer gave her strength. She said, "Martin, you are very good. How can I repay you? When he falls asleep, I will tell you all the old stories, but it seems like he is already asleep. Look at you sleeping so well, so gentle and innocent." He did not know how much his mother suffered, and God also wanted him to never know that. You also know that I used to work for the court advisor, the father of the current mayor. Suddenly one day, his youngest son, studying in Copenhagen, returned home to visit. At that time, I was young, agile, active, but decent. God is my witness to that. That young student was a cheerful, easy-going, lovely and handsome young man. There is no other blood in his body other than the blood of those who value honor and honesty. He is the owner and number 39's son. I am just a resident, but we love each other, are pure and decent. That is not a crime either. He told that story to his mother. To him, she is like God on earth. And in fact, she is a very kind and loving mother. He put a gold ring on my finger and returned to Copenhagen. As soon as he left, the landlady called me up. She was stern but very sweet. My grandmother and number 39's words sounded like a voice from heaven. She explained to me clearly the difference between him and me. She said, "And quat, now he only knows one thing. You are very beautiful. But beauty will fade away. You are not as educated and knowledgeable as he is. We are not compatible with each other there, and that will be a problem. And quat, painful thing. And quat," she added, "and quat, I really appreciate and respect the poor. In the eyes of God, in heaven, many poor people have occupied higher positions than rich people. But in this world, Don and number 39's go down the wrong path. Look. Maybe, Don and number 39's drag us both down the path of suffering that you mistakenly think is a guarantee of happiness. I know, there was a good man, a worker, who asked you. I and number 39's am talking about Eric, the glovemaker. And quat, he and number 39's a widower, but has no children, and has a comfortable business. Think carefully about what I just said. And quat, Every word the lady said pierced my heart like a sharp knife. She and number 39's right. Those are the things that make me confused and miserable. I felt bitter, kissed her hand, tears streaming down my face. I sobbed until I got back to my room and fell into bed. That night was a terrible night. Only God knows how much I hurt and struggled to endure. The following Sunday, I went to the altar of God and asked Him to enlighten my soul. It seems to be God and number 39's will. As soon as I walked out of the church, I immediately met Eric. At that moment I had no more doubts. We are completely compatible. Our situation is similar, he also has a small capital. I walked towards him, held his hand and asked, "Do you still think of me?" He replied, "Not yet. Always and forever. Do you want to marry a girl who only appreciates you but doesn't and #39 T love you? One day it will come." He replied, "It will happen, I and number 39 am sure of it." And we betrothed ourselves to each other. I returned home. The gold ring the student gave me during the day, I put it in my collar, close to my heart, to avoid everyone and number 39's disapproval. Only at night, when I go to sleep, do I put it in my hand. I took it and kissed it until my lips bled. Then I returned it to the landlady and told her that my marriage news would be announced next week. She hugged me tightly and kissed me. She never called me a pervert. Or maybe I was better then than I am now, even though I had never experienced suffering. We got married on the day the Virgin Mary consecrated the road. The first year, everything was fine. We have a co-worker and an apprentice. You were living in our house at that time, dear Mart. Mart said, "Yes, at that time you were a good and lovely mistress. I will never forget the kindness your husband and you showed me back then. Yes, the years you worked with me were beautiful years. We Don and number 39 T have children yet. The student and I Don and number 39 T see each other anymore. However, one time I saw him, but he never saw me. The day his mother was buried, he came back here. He stood by the grave, pale as a corpse and engulfed in infinite grief. But that and number 39's just him crying for his mother. Not long after, when his father died, he traveled far abroad and never came back here. I heard that he apparently worked as a lawyer and was not married. As for me, he has forgotten. If he met me, he probably wouldn't and #39 T recognize me anymore, because I and number 39, they become so hideous. But that and number 39's good, that and number 39's better. She talked about the difficult days, the days of poverty that cruelly tormented her. Back then, we had 500 gold coins. In the big street, people sell an old house for 200 Vietnamese dongs. We bought and rebuilt a new house, including carpentry and masonry labor, which cost 1,020 VND. Eric borrowed money in Copenhagen. The ship bringing the money back sank and the gold also sank to the bottom of the sea. It was during that time that I gave birth to my dear, gentle grandchild who was sleeping obediently over there. My husband suffered a serious and prolonged illness. For 9 months, I had to take care of him and change his clothes because he was so weak. Our business is increasingly failing. We are in debt. The money saved and the furniture sold all paid off the debt. Eric passed away. I struggled and worked hard to raise my children. I worked constantly, taking on any job, cleaning hired staircases, washing all kinds of clothes, silks and fabrics. But the suffering still haunts me until now. That is God and number 39's will, and in the end, He will surely call me to His side. I also believe that you will not abandon my son." Meanwhile, the mayor sent someone to call the washerwoman because he had something important to tell her. By that time it was too late. Mart ran and called the barber to inject the acupuncture point. Too late. The poor washerwoman passed away. The mayor said, "She was so drunk that she died." And this is what he intended to tell her. In the letter announcing his brother and number 39's death, there was an excerpt from the will. 600 gold coins were reserved for the widowed washerwoman who had lived with his parents in the past. This amount of money must be gradually given to you or your children, more or less depending on their needs. The mayor thought to himself, "Ah, I remember now. There was something going on between her and her sister before. If she dies, the boy will get all the money. I will send him to a good home, he will become a skillful and good worker in the future." And indeed, I also want those words to be fully implemented. The mayor called the baby over. He promised to look after her and added that she should not be sad. It and number 39's true that I lost a mother, but my mother was also very spoiled. The baby stood next to his mother sobbing, "My dear, gentle mother. Is it true that my mother is a spoiled person?" The old lady raised her eyes to the sky as if asking God to testify and said, "Your mother is the embodiment of morality." I and number 39's they known that for a long time, and I know it even more clearly after what happened the other night. I swear to you, your mother is an upright and virtuous person, and God said so up there. So let people criticize your mother as a spoiled person, you must always respect her soul. Thank you for joining us for today's fairy tale. We hope these stories bring joy and meaning to your day. If you love our channel, please hit the subscribe button so you won't miss any exciting tales. Wishing you a good night and sweet dreams. See you in the next story.